Well, in the U.S., what's legal in the state versus what's legal at the federal level has always created kind of a gray area. We were confident that cannabis had a very large legal medical market, and that it was eventually, or seemingly going to be eventually, a legal adult use market, which has happened now that Prop 64 passed. Although, like you've mentioned, it is still federally illegal. We kind of took a look at public sentiment and are basically placing a bet that while only 60% of the general population believes that cannabis should be, legalized, over 70% of the younger generations do believe that it should be legal.
Did you face a lot of backlash from friends or family? I mean, you're half Chinese. I'm wondering, what did your mother say to you when you decided, I'm going to build an incubator based on cannabis?
At least what they said to my face was, they know I always take a calculated look at things and that I do it with the right heart. But there was a lot of education that I had to do. There were many long conversations. In fact, when I told my parents, I think I talked for about an hour and a half straight before they then responded and be like, okay, well, we believe in you and good luck. I did find out recently, though, like with the passing of Prop 64, my mom finally did come to me and she's like, you look like a genius among the family. And I'm like, it's something that also has motivated me as we started Gateway. We see Gateway as a brand that has the opportunity to put a new face on the industry, kind of wash away the stoner image.
One of the things that affected you was hearing about the stories where
a mother who successfully treated her child for seizures with cannabis.
Yeah, the medical applications of it and just the fact that the federal government has ignored them for so long. And then I also started thinking about a lot of people that I have had in my life that have gone through cancer and other terrible diseases that could have used cannabis as a treatment, but it was never offered to them.
You talk a lot about wanting to go beyond just being high and medical purposes too.
The types of businesses we work with, they span a lot of categories, right? We go everywhere from infused edibles, consumer packaged goods in that realm, to hardware and software technology. And the nice thing about cannabis right now is that there's very large margins. So this is helping fund a lot of this innovation that can't necessarily occur in other industries.
Some of these technologies that you're developing, actually there may be uses in China, and they're talking with companies in China?
The first time I had heard about this ability for cannabis innovation to impact other ones was I was talking to a local grower, and he's like, I'm touring around Chinese businessmen, and they're looking at my lighting systems and how to integrate it into vertical farming. Take it to the next level, we have a company called GrowX in our current cohort. The engineer comes from SpaceX, he's a really bright guy, and he's building a fully self-contained unit that controls all the inputs, nutrients, water, lighting. It has the chance to dramatically change the cost of production, not only in cannabis, but whatever type of plants you put in this unit.
Jeff Sessions is the possible incoming Attorney General. He's not a fan of marijuana.
No, he's not.
Are you worried about what this could mean for your investments?
Jeff Sessions is a concern. But what I would say is that most attorney generals have not been favorable to cannabis. If you look at Loretta Lynn, she was very much against cannabis when coming in under Obama. But her perception has changed over time. The companies that we work with are either not touching the plant or building contingencies where they can be used in other markets. We talked about some of the hardware technology, but also software. We have a fintech company that originally came to cannabis to solve this huge banking problem that a lot of the cannabis companies have, but now he's realizing that there's 30 other industries that have troubles with banking and credit card processing.
But there are ones that are just consuming.
Yeah, those are more difficult, but considering that the president is probably the most anti-war on drugs president that we've had ever, and that he's very pro-states' rights.
Do you want it to be regulated to be safe?
You have marijuana in the car?
When I did a story about new tech to test for THC levels in drivers, a lot of supporters of cannabis reacted negatively that it would just be another tool to criminalize the drug. Would you be open to supporting companies that use tech to regulate it for safety?
Definitely. I mean, I think it is definitely something that needs to be regulated. I'm also, well, I shouldn't say I'm pro-alcohol, but I think alcohol is a real industry and there's regulations built all around that. Cannabis is different. I don't think a breathalyzer for cannabis is the right solution, but it would be very easy to develop, say, like a VR solution or something that is able to test, like, someone's ability to process information. We do need to do the research, and we do need to create a regulated framework that people trust.